Hi everyone, it's Scott from Scott Miller Guitar. Welcome to this brief 6-part series on how to get started on the guitar correctly. If you're a brand new student guitar, you've come to the right place. I'm going to give you some basic tips, some exercises, some fundamentals, some chords, and some knowledge of the instrument that you might need to start the guitar successfully. And for those of you who've been playing for a short while but without teachers or videos, this will give you some good knowledge, I feel. And lastly, those of you who have played before but haven't played in a while, this can be a great refresher course for you to get you started again. Okay, so out of this 6-part series, again, these will be very short videos. I encourage you, after watching video 1, please watch videos 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that'll complete the brief series and give you a great overview of fundamentals and basics to help you succeed. This first video will be the shortest. We're going to talk about the parts of the guitar. Now, many students have said to me in my private lessons over the past 21 years, "Oh, I don't think I need to know that. I don't think I need to know parts." But imagine if you broke a string and you needed to purchase the 3rd string. What if you were calling the 4th string the 3rd string, or you thought they were opposite? That might be a problem, right? What if you did not know the difference between string 1 and string 6? That might be a problem. So in this overview of parts, we're going to give you all the essentials, okay? Let's start with the top of the guitar. Guys, this is called the head, just the head of the guitar. These right here on either side, on both sides here, these are called various things. These are tuning machines, tuning machine heads, or just tuners. I just call them tuners. Do you see this white piece of plastic? This is called the nut. And what the nut does, basically, it elevates the strings off the neck and provides correct spacing between the strings, so that's essential. The back and the front, this entire portion, this is the guitar neck. The front wooden portion of the neck is often called one of two things. It's the fretboard or fingerboard. Both are acceptable. It's the board on which you place your fingers, right? We have the strings here. The strings run horizontally. These are the wires, you could say, that run horizontally. Well, these wires, you see these? These metal wires going this direction or vertically, those are the frets. Now, I'd like to interject something about frets for a moment. Instruments such as violin, they don't have frets, but guitar does, of course. The idea is that you would never want to play directly on top of a fret. If you did that, for instance, I'm going to go to my low string, the thickest, I'm going to play at the 3rd fret. Listen to this. That would sound pretty horrible, right? It does sound pretty horrible. So what I encourage you to do, even though a book or a song might say 3rd fret, what they really are saying is play in front of the fret, or I should say correctly, behind the fret. So if I were on this 6-string 3rd wire, I'm going to go down or behind it. See that? Okay. So, and another quick note, the wooden space, as we've said, is the fingerboard. If you remained within the space between the 2nd wire and the 3rd, notice something, guys. It doesn't change in sound, but most agree the better sound and the easier place to play is right behind the fret. So please remember that. When you're playing at frets, if you can help it, play right behind it. You'll get a good tone. It'll be easier to push down. Okay, so we have now, let's talk about position markers and inlays. If I turn my guitar over here, maybe you can see I have these black dots on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th frets of the guitar. Those are just there to help you find your place on the guitar. They do correspond with the inlays, on my guitar at least, and many guitars. So there's an inlay here, a nice design on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th. And again, that will help you find your place on the guitar. Notice the double dots is the 12th fret. And more on that in future lessons, but this is called the octave, and all that simply means is if you play any string open and depress that same string at the double dots of the 12th fret, that note is twice as high than the original. So, and that's true for every string on the guitar. Watch this. That's new news to lots of students. Let's continue. We have the body of the guitar. This is the top, the sides, and the back. Sound comes out of this hole, so this is the sound hole. This is actually called the pickguard. It's not just for looks. When you're strumming, it would be easy sometimes to chip up the body of the guitar. So this is placed there. It's called the pickguard to protect the body from being chipped up when you strum or pick. Okay? We'll continue with this. This is called the bridge. This white piece of bone, a lot of guitars have plastic. My guitar is bone, a bone nut, and a bone saddle. This is the saddle of the guitar, and much like the nut on this end, it raises the strings on this end. So again, nut, saddle, and these are the bridge pins. They hold the strings in place. Now, many of you, or most of you, on your guitars, your acoustics, you'll have a strap button on the end where you can attach a guitar strap. My guitar is plugged in today, so there's no strap on it, but if I were to plug in this cable, I'd first put the strap on it and then plug that in. But unfortunately, a lot of guitars don't have a strap button here, and see if you can see this. The best place for it is right underneath there, okay? And I would encourage you guys, please don't do the shoelace thing. A lot of guitar manufacturers will, again, create a guitar with a strap button here and not put one here. So what do students do? They put the end of the strap here. They're left with this end of the strap with a hole in it, but nowhere to attach it. So they put a shoelace through it and tie it up here. I think that's not the best thing to do. Simply take your guitar to a music store, and maybe for a few dollars they could actually just put in a strap button, and you can attach it there, and that's the best place for it. Lastly, truly, you're not going to need a strap unless you're standing. If you're sitting while you practice, you don't need a strap. So if you're performing, you'll obviously need a strap, so you can actually hold off on that purchase until you're ready to play on stage. Let's see if there's anything else we want to cover briefly. I think I did save the best for last. Guys, we have 6 strings on the guitar. This is often misunderstood. If I were to ask you which string is number 1, I think perhaps half of you would say the highest, the thinnest is number 1, and maybe the other half could say this is number 1 because it's closest to you. And I've been teaching at the time of this video for 21 years, and I've seen it with thousands of students. Many assume mistakenly this is the first string because it's closest to them. Please remember this. The first string is the one farthest away from you. So string 1 is the highest string, and string 6 is the lowest string. So there's 4 ways of thinking about it. Here's the highest and the lowest, top as in treble, bottom as in bass, thinnest and thickest, and first and last. There you go. So please remember that, guys. String 1 and string 6. Okay. Guys, I think that concludes this brief video of the guitar parts and an overview of some essentials. We'll see you in video number 2.